The signal and first contact. The rhythmic beeping of the anomaly detection system pulled Dr. Elena Reyes from her half-sleep at monitoring station Argus-7. 3 months into her rotation at this remote outpost at the edge of the solar system, she'd grown accustomed to false alarms, usually radiation bursts from distant quasars or equipment glitches. This was different. "Dr. Reyes to command," she said, straightening in her chair as she studied the pattern on her screen. "I'm tracking a non-random signal from the HD 219,134 system, definitely artificial, and using prime number sequences as a communication basis." General Marcus Chen's face appeared on her comm screen within seconds. "Another SETI candidate, Doctor?" "No, sir. This isn't like the others. It's directed specifically at our solar system. And," she hesitated, "it appears to be a distress call." 12 hours later, the Lena stood in the gleaming conference room of the United Earth Defense Force headquarters in Geneva. The holographic display of the signal pattern rotated slowly above the center table as the highest-ranking military and scientific leaders on Earth debated its implications. "The signal has been repeating for approximately 15 years, explained Dr. Reyes. "Given the 21 light-year distance, whatever prompted it happened over 3 decades ago." General Chen nodded gravely, "which means whatever emergency prompted this has likely resolved itself, one way or another." Admiral Hiroshi Tanaka, commander of Earth's nascent interstellar fleet, leaned forward. "Nevertheless, this represents humanity's first confirmed contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence. The new Alcubierre drives have been cleared for extended missions. I propose we assemble an expedition." President Amara Okafor's voice carried finality as she ended the debate. "Assemble your fleet, Admiral. Humanity's first step beyond our solar system will be one of peace and assistance, even if we're 30 years too late." 3 weeks later, Admiral Tanaka stood on the bridge of the EDF Pathfinder, Earth's first true interstellar vessel. Alongside it, 4 other ships prepared for the journey: the warships Defender and Resolute, the science vessel Discovery, and the medical ship Mercy. "All ships reporting ready, Admiral," announced Commander Sarah West, his executive officer. Tanaka took a deep breath. "Broadcast the countdown to all vessels. Alcubierre drives engage on my mark." The revolutionary drives hummed to life, bending space-time around the 5 vessels. In brilliant flashes of light, they disappeared from Earth's orbit, leaving humanity's cradle behind for the first time. 20 days later, the fleet emerged at the edge of the HD 219,134 system. Commander West immediately began scanning the system. "Sir, I'm detecting significant artificial structures around the second planet, orbital stations, planetary habitations, and debris fields. Lots of them." "Recent combat?" Tanaka asked, his expression grave. "Some debris appears fresh, perhaps within the last few months." "Sir," called out Lieutenant Peddle from Communications, "we're being scanned by multiple sources." Tanaka straightened his uniform. "Looks like whoever sent that distress signal might still need our help. Open a communication channel. Standard first contact package." The carefully prepared message, a series of mathematical formulas, simple images, and basic language primers, was transmitted toward the planet. The response came faster than anyone expected. "Admiral," Paddle said, his voice tinged with disbelief. "They're responding in English." A melodic, slightly accented voice filled the bridge. "Unknown vessels, this is Central Council of Solara. Identify yourselves and state your intentions." After a moment of stunned silence, Tanaka responded, "This is Admiral Hiroshi Tanaka of the Earth Defense Force vessel Pathfinder. We received your distress signal and have come to offer assistance." There was a long pause before the reply came. "Distress signal. That was transmitted 32 cycles ago, when the Krell first invaded our outer settlements. You are from Earth, the 3rd planet of Sol." "That's correct." Another pause. Request permission to send a diplomatic vessel to your location for direct communication. 2 hours later, a sleek silver ship docked with the Pathfinder. The airlock cycled, and humanity had its first face-to-face encounter with an alien species. The 3 beings that entered were tall and willowy with luminescent azure skin. Large iridescent eyes blinked rapidly in the ship's lighting. They moved with a grace that seemed almost ethereal, but their steps were careful and deliberate, as if the ship's gravity strained their bodies. "Greetings," said the foremost alien, its voice musical and soft. "I am First Speaker Ilara of the Solaran Alliance. These are High Scientist Torin and Defense Coordinator Lyra." Admiral Tanaka stepped forward. "Welcome aboard the Pathfinder. I am Admiral Tanaka. These are Commander West, Dr. Kaminsky, and Lieutenant Patel." The aliens studied the humans with unmistakable curiosity. High Scientist Torin moved forward with a strange walking device supporting his slender frame. "You are exactly as our historical records described," Torin said. "We feared you might be myth." Dr. Kaminsky couldn't contain her scientific curiosity. "You knew of humans before today." Defense Coordinator Lyra nodded, her movements fluid but stiff. The signal was not random. It was directed specifically to Earth. "Our ancestors believed that if any species could help against the Krell, it would be the Deathworlders of Sol." "Deathworlders?" Lieutenant Patel asked. First Speaker Ilara seemed surprised. "You do not know. Your planet Earth is classified as an extreme death world, a planet with conditions so harsh that most spacefaring species would perish within days. High gravity, extreme temperature variations, toxic atmosphere components, dangerous predators, and harmful radiation levels." The humans exchanged glances. To them, Earth was simply home. "You evolved in conditions that would kill most intelligent life in the galaxy," continued Torin, his large eyes studying the humans' robust frames. "Your physical capabilities are remarkable to us." Admiral Tanaka guided the conversation back to practical matters. "You mentioned the Krell. Are they still a threat?" Lyra's expression darkened. "They have conquered 7 neighboring systems and demand our surrender. The war has been ongoing for 32 cycles. We are losing." "Perhaps we should continue this discussion somewhere more comfortable," Tanaka suggested. "We have much to learn from each other." In the ship's conference room, the Solarans explained their situation in detail. The Krell Empire had been expanding aggressively, conquering peaceful worlds that lacked military strength. Most spacefaring species in this region of the galaxy had evolved on gentle worlds with minimal environmental hazards, developing advanced technology, but lacking the physical resilience and combat instincts that humans took for granted. "Our technology is actually more advanced than yours in many areas," Torin explained. "But the Krell have numbers and aggression we cannot match." As they spoke, an alarm sounded throughout the ship. "Admiral," called West urgently. "Unidentified vessel approaching at high speed. Not matching Solaran configurations." Lyra stood quickly. "Krell scout ship. They must have detected your arrival." "Battle stations," Tanaka ordered calmly. "Commander West, defensive positions." The Solarans watched in amazement as the humans efficiently prepared for combat. On the main screen, they could see a dark, angular vessel approaching rapidly, its weapons already powering up. Without warning, the Krell ship fired on the Pathfinder. The shields absorbed the impact, barely registering damage. "Target their weapon systems," Tanaka commanded. "Disable, don't destroy if possible." The Pathfinder fired a precise shot that struck the Krell ship's main weapon array. Before the alien vessel could react, a second shot disabled its engines. The entire exchange had taken less than 30 seconds. The Solarans stared in shock. First Speaker Ilara turned to Tanaka with new respect in her large eyes. 32 years ago, we sent a desperate call to a planet of legendary warriors," she said quietly. It seems the legends were true. Unknown to them, the disabled Krell scout had transmitted footage of the brief battle back to its fleet. In a command center many light years away, a Krell High Commander watched the recording with growing concern. "Find out everything about these newcomers," he ordered his intelligence officer. "I want to know exactly what we're facing." The wheels of conflict were now in motion, and humanity had just announced its presence to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible. The turning of the tide. "These aren't simple raiders," Admiral Tanaka said, studying the holographic display of Krell territory. "They've built an empire through systematic conquest." The red markers showing Krell-controlled systems stretched across a significant portion of the local star cluster. Defense Coordinator Lyra manipulated the display, highlighting planets that had fallen in the past decade. "They have conquered 17 systems in 32 cycles," she explained. "We are among the last who still resist." "Why haven't other worlds united against them?" Commander West asked. "Fear." First Speaker Ilara answered simply. "Most species in our region evolved on gentle worlds. When faced with Krell aggression, they surrender rather than fight." Dr. Kaminsky studied the military data the Solarans had shared. "Their ships outnumber yours nearly 15 to 1. "Yes," Lyra admitted, "and they grow stronger with each world they take." Admiral Tanaka made his decision. "I'll send a message to Earth. We need reinforcements." 4 days later, the Earth Defense Force's response arrived. Earth would send 20 more warships and support vessels, along with military advisors and diplomatic personnel. It was more than Tanaka had dared hope for. "This is just the beginning," Tanaka told the Solaran Council. "If we form an official alliance, Earth can commit even more resources." High Scientist Torin stepped forward. "Some on our council fear trading one dominant power for another. How do we know humans won't conquer us after defeating the Krell?" Tanaka nodded, understanding their concern. "A fair question. Unlike the Krell, we don't seek to rule others. We're explorers first, warriors second. We fight only when necessary to protect ourselves and our allies." The next 2 weeks saw a flurry of activity as more human ships arrived. Each new vessel caused excitement among the Solarans, who had never seen such variety in starship design. The humans' practical, sturdy ships contrasted with the elegant but fragile Solaran vessels. Colonel Maya Rodriguez arrived with the military contingent. A veteran of Earth's Mars conflicts, Rodriguez was tasked with training Solaran forces. "Their technology is impressive," Rodriguez told Tanaka after her first inspection. "But their combat tactics are basic. They've never needed to fight until now." Chief Engineer David Chen led a team studying Solaran technology. "Admiral, their energy systems are at least 50 years ahead of ours," he reported. "But their weapons technology is surprisingly primitive." "They never developed it," Tanaka replied. "They didn't face predators or wage wars like we did on Earth." Ambassador Lin worked with First Speaker Ilaret to draft an alliance treaty, while Lieutenant Patel collaborated with Solaran scientists to integrate human and Solaran systems. "Your computers are incredibly advanced," Patel told Torin as they worked, "but your security protocols have serious weaknesses." Torin watched Patel with fascination. "How can you work so long without rest? I would have collapsed hours ago." Patel laughed. "Just regular human endurance. Nothing special for us. Among my people, you would be considered superhuman," Torin said quietly. On the training grounds, Colonel Rodriguez watched Solaran soldiers struggle with basic combat exercises. Their slender bodies, evolved in lower gravity, quickly became exhausted. "Don't push yourselves to match us," Rodriguez told them. "Use your technology to compensate for physical limitations. Let's play to your strengths: speed, precision, and coordination." Defense Coordinator Lyra approached Rodriguez after the session. "My people speak of you humans like mythological beings. They say one human soldier equals 5 Krell warriors." Rodriguez shook her head. "Exaggerations won't help us win. The Krell still outnumber us. We need smart strategy, not just strength." As they spoke, an urgent message arrived from Solaran intelligence. The Krell had issued an ultimatum. The humans must leave Solaran space within 5 days or face destruction. They fear you, Lyra said. They've never encountered a species with humanity's natural advantages. In the command center, Admiral Tanaka and First Speaker Ilara discussed the ultimatum. Intelligence reports suggest the Krell have conquered most systems through intimidation, not actual combat, Tanaka said. They use fear as their primary weapon. And now they fear you, Ilara replied. What will you do? Reject their ultimatum, of course, Tanaka answered. But we need to formalize our alliance immediately. Earth won't commit its full military without an official treaty. Ambassador Lin worked through the night with First Speaker Ilara, finalizing the alliance document. By morning, it was ready for signing. The ceremony took place in the Grand Hall of the Solaran capital city. Enormous crystalline windows revealed a lavender sky and the graceful spires of alien architecture. Tanaka signed for Earth, while First Speaker Ilara signed for Solara. Today marks a new chapter for both our peoples, Ilara announced. Together, we will end the Krell threat. The celebration was interrupted by an emergency alert. A Krell battle group had launched a surprise attack on a joint human-Solaran outpost in the system's asteroid belt. Tanaka rushed to the command center with Commander West. Status report, he demanded. The outpost is under heavy bombardment, a Solaran officer reported. Communications are sporadic. The EDF defender is closest, West said. They've moved to engage. Hours passed as reports came in from the battle. The defender had driven off the main Krell force, but ground troops had landed on the asteroid base. A fierce battle was underway with human soldiers fighting alongside Solaran defenders. When video feeds were finally established, the Solaran command center fell silent in amazement. Human soldiers fought with incredible endurance and strength. Where Solarans quickly tired, humans pressed on. Where Solarans needed breathing equipment in the asteroid's thin atmosphere, humans pushed through with minimal support. By the stars, Lyra whispered. The stories were true. The battle ended with a human victory, but at a cost. The Krell had managed to capture several human soldiers during their retreat. This changes everything, Tanaka said grimly when he received the news. Taking our people prisoner is an act of war against Earth itself. The next day, Tanaka sent his report to EDF Command. The response came within hours. Earth was mobilizing its full military might. Hundreds of ships were being prepared. The Krell had made a fatal mistake. They had awakened the full fury of the Deathworlders. 2 weeks later, the massive EDF carrier Terminus dropped out of FTL at the edge of Solaran space, followed by a fleet of over 300 Earth vessels. Admiral Tanaka watched from the Pathfinder as ship after ship appeared, forming the largest human fleet ever assembled. Quite a sight, isn't it? Commander West said, standing beside him. Tanaka nodded. Earth has never faced an interstellar threat before. The response has been impressive. Colonel Rodriguez entered the bridge with a team of Special Forces operators. My team is ready, Admiral. We just need intelligence on where our people are being held. The Solarans are working on that, West replied. Their spy network has identified several possible Krell detention facilities. In the ship's engineering section, Lieutenant Patol worked with Solaran technicians to upgrade the human vessels. The alliance had already begun bearing fruit. Solaran energy technology was being integrated into human weapon systems. This will increase your weapon efficiency by 40%, Torin explained as they worked. But your power systems must be reinforced to handle it. Patel wiped sweat from his brow. We'll manage. Humans are good at adapting. He paused, looking at the alien scientist. Can I ask you something, Torin? How did the Solarans see this war going before we arrived? Torin's large eyes blinked slowly. Before you arrived, we were losing day by day. Now, he gestured to the busy workshop. For the first time, there is hope. Commander West studied the tactical display of Krell territory. We've narrowed down the location of the human prisoners to this facility, a Solaran intelligence agent said, highlighting a moon orbiting a gas giant in a recently conquered system. Heavy defenses. West noted. Orbital platforms, ground installations. Nothing we can't handle, Rodriguez said confidently. 3 days later, the combined Earth-Solaran fleet launched its first major offensive. While the main fleet engaged Krell forces near the gas giant, Colonel Rodriguez led a strike team to the moon where the human prisoners were held. The battle was fierce. Krell ships fought with desperate intensity, but they were no match for the combined might of human determination and Solaran technology. The Special Forces team infiltrated the prison facility while the space battle raged above. "We're in," Rodriguez reported over the secure channel. Proceeding to detention area. The Krell guards fought bravely, but were overwhelmed by the speed and strength of the human operators. Rodriguez found the captured soldiers in a reinforced cell block. "Took you long enough, Colonel," said one of the prisoners with a weak smile. "Traffic was hell," Rodriguez replied, cutting through their restraints. "Let's get you home." As the rescue team extracted with the freed prisoners, the Krell command ship attempted to flee the battle. Admiral Tanaka's voice came over the fleet channel. "All ships, focus fire on their engines. Don't let them escape." The combined firepower of 20 Earth vessels struck the Krell flagship simultaneously. Its shields collapsed, and the massive ship drifted dead in space. In the aftermath, High Commander Zorax of the Krell Empire was brought aboard the Pathfinder under heavy guard. The alien warlord was massive compared to the Solarans, with gray-armored skin and multiple eyes that glared at Tanaka with hatred. "You have made an enemy of the entire Krell Empire, human," Zorax growled. "No," Tanaka responded calmly. "You made an enemy of Earth when you attacked our people. But we're offering you a choice now, one you never gave to those you conquered." The terms were simple. The Krell would withdraw from Solaran space and release all conquered worlds in this sector. In exchange, Earth would not pursue them further into their territory. "And if we refuse?" Zorax demanded. Tanaka's expression hardened. "Then we continue this war until there is no Krell Empire left to threaten peaceful species." 3 days later, the Krell began their withdrawal. Intelligence reports indicated civil unrest throughout their empire as news of their defeat spread. "They've never lost before," First Speaker Ilara explained as she stood with Tanaka, watching the Krell ships depart. "Their entire society is built on the myth of invincibility." "What happens now?" asked Commander West. "Now," Tanaka said, "we help rebuild, and we prepare for what comes next." The alliance between Earth and Solara was just the beginning. Other worlds, emboldened by the Krell's defeat, reached out to join the growing coalition. Earth established its first extraterrestrial embassy on Solara, while Solaran scientists and diplomats prepared to visit Earth. Stories of the Deathworlders spread throughout the sector. Some species feared these new arrivals from a harsh world. Others sought their protection. All recognized that the galaxy had fundamentally changed. Humans had arrived, and the stars would never be the same again.